financial literacy, and the human condition. Welcome to Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rahaim.
Guarantees, by the way, a very important word in this conversation. Your pension is a guarantee. It's a promise. Don't trade it in for something that might be somebody's guess. Okay. So when we're working with pensions, we're really careful here. We're really careful about making sure that if we're going to give you lifetime income, it is better than what your pension can give you. If it isn't, then we are obligated to show you and say, we can't beat that. Take the pension. Hi, it's Francis. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for watching this video. If you're catching us on YouTube, please help us help others by clicking like, subscribe, and all notifications so you don't miss any videos. And check back for the next video. I think you're going to love it. Thanks again. For more information, you can visit us at hugyourmoney.com.
Welcome to Financial Fitness. I'm Jess Tyler, along with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rahaim. Hi.
Hi, Jess. How are you today?
I'm good. And you have a really interesting story that happened that I really want to hear about.
You see, now you think it's interesting, and I think it just made me hot under the collar. Oh, my goodness. It is interesting. And I don't think we've ever done a show about this, but as often happens, my finger on the pulse is my clients, the members of Hug Your Money, who tell me things that happen to them in the real world. And in this case, it was a client who had been with me for years. And thankfully, I learned about this because we'd built a relationship over many years of getting him out of debt and, you know, building a budget and planning his retirement. But when it came to this one piece of his retirement, he assumed what most of us would assume. He's a teacher.
Yeah.
So I'll say that we're talking about Massachusetts in this show, but let me just say that this isn't unique to Massachusetts. For our listeners and viewers across the country, every state has its own version of a public employee or teacher's retirement system. So whether you're in California or Texas or Florida or anywhere in between, it doesn't really matter. The structure is going to be pretty similar. These are what we call defined benefit pension plans. And we're going to talk more about that, what that means. But they're run by the state or the local government. The program is designed to provide some lifetime income based on your years of service and your salary, not to sell you products or replace your financial plan. However, the line gets a little muddy sometimes, and we'll talk about why and what you can do to protect yourself from this. So this gentleman's a teacher. He figures that the best thing he can do is go to the Mass Teachers Retirement System, MTRS. It's the right thing to do, right? It's a great system.
Sounds like it would be, yeah.
It's one of the best in the country, right? It's well run. So he reaches out to MTRS, and somewhere along the line, and I'm not quite clear whether he clicked a link or he got an email or something happened, that he was, as he saw it, referred to someone who worked with MTRS. Now, Mass Teachers Retirement and most of these state boards do not refer you to people, as best of my knowledge. Okay, there's my big disclaimer at the beginning of the show. I'm not an attorney, even though we're going to talk about law and how this affects what their statutes are. You can look it up. You can ask an attorney. And this is to the best of my knowledge, designed to educate people, okay? So somewhere along the line, he gets, quote, referred to this person. And the only question he asks of her is the obvious one. What will my retirement numbers look like? What will my pension be when I retire in this year? Hindsight's 2020, and after this whole thing goes awry and the poor guy is absolutely fear-ridden, being told that he would lose his money and that what he had was terrible and all of these awful things, the poor man called me absolutely distraught because somebody was telling him things that are not true. So, or at the very least, were a misunderstanding. Let's be diplomatic about it. They were a misunderstanding. So this poor guy thinks he's losing all of his money. He thinks all the planning he's done is not good for him. It's not accurate, whatever. Under the premise that he should surrender what he's already got in place at a pretty high cost to him, I might admit, in order to buy what she was presenting.
Okay, so where did he go wrong did he call the right number that he got referred, or you're not sure?
Well, I'm not sure of what happened in his case, but we are going to talk about how this can happen. And it's way easier than you might think. Way
Okay.
easier. Happens to a lot of people. I was grateful to him for bringing it to my attention. And
Mm-hmm.
in the end, he said to me, because he was really upset. And of course, we were able to provide everything in writing, show him all the work he'd done. Everything was there, backed by the companies. The guarantees were there. Guarantees, by the way, a very important word in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Your pension is a guarantee, it's a promise. Don't trade it in for something that might be somebody's guess. Okay. So
Right.
when we're working with pensions, we're really careful here. We're really careful
Mm-hmm.
about making sure that if we're going to give you lifetime income, it is better than what your pension can give you. If it
Okay.
isn't, then we are obligated to show you and say, we can't beat that. Take the pension, take that
Mm-hmm.
payout. Okay. I will tell you that one of the things that can happen is that companies choose names that sound like they're part of the
Yeah.
mass teachers retirement, uh,
Okay.
and or they have website names that sound like that. Or in some cases, I think it's rarer, but in some cases, someone who works for your state employment organization might hand you a card and say, this person has helped a lot of teachers,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? And so it
Okay.
feels like a referral. But make no mistake, right at the beginning of the show, I'm just going to tell you flat out, they are not selling you products. They are a fabulous resource for what your numbers will look like, what your options are, all of that. But they can't and don't act like a fiduciary advisor.
Okay.
So if somebody's doing that, red flag,
That's
you should
yeah.
go back. Yeah. And of course, there's a website you can go to for Mass Teachers Retirement. We'll give that out. And you can always call their phone number directly, but it's the same in every state across the country. If you have one of these defined benefit plans,
Mm-hmm.
then you want to contact directly your state people and ask them, who am I speaking to? Is this the official one? And log everything, because this was so close for this guy. He would have lost a fair amount of money, which maybe she would have made up in some bonus annuity or something. But
Right.
in my opinion, it could not have possibly been in his best interest to do this.
But
Um,
again, what a big indicator of why it's great to have a financial advisor, because I'm sure once he called you and talked it through, he probably felt such enormous relief.
it's funny, because we're not using his name. I suppose I can say this. If he hears the show, he will he will know. But I
Hmm.
think I even almost asked him to come on and talk about it, and I think he would. He was so irate. I've known this man for about maybe 4 years
Hmm.
professionally, and we've worked closely together. And he's a gentle soul, but a big man, a kind man, and he was reduced to absolute tears. And he had lifetime
Yeah.
guarantees. I absolutely just said, here it is from the company. Here's straight again from the company. Here's your guarantees,
Right.
It was so sad and infuriating. And to me, in an industry where we are supposed to be like doctors, right? We are supposed to care for you. We
Hmm.
are supposed to give you good advice. That's our job. And we have power. We're in a position of respect and supposedly knowledge, and people
Hmm.
turn to us to to be sure that the one of the largest decisions they will ever make in their life about retirement is actually going to be okay. They're going to
Hmm.
draw a line in the sand and retire at some point and say, all right, I'm going to leave the workforce and maybe stop earning completely. Maybe they'll do another job or not, but that's a big, very big decision. And to make it without the proper work behind it, without a debt plan, without a
Hmm.
budget plan, without a retirement picture that includes not just your income or your pension, but maybe your spouse or partner's income and pension, your health care, a debt plan, other things like that come into play. And I'll give you a list of what you should know and what you should ask. And I even have a handout for people that want it. You can just email us and we'll give you a handout on it.
Okay.
But to do that lightly is not only not prudent, uh, but I think if an advisor doesn't do that kind of work leading up to this, it's not responsible in my opinion. I know it's the hard
Mhm.
stuff. I know nobody wants to help you plan your actual budget and look at your health. I know that's not where the money is for advisors, but it's the right thing to do,
Hmm. Yeah, this
especially the
is
debt.
Yeah. And with him, he thinks he's working hard towards something all along. And then with one phone call, it feels like it's all wiped out. That had to have been traumatic, really.
I'm going to tell you, you hit the nail on the head. It was not only traumatic for him, but when I ended up having a discussion with him about this, I I said, look, I know that I'm supposed to be the non-emotional advisor, but I think at this stage, we've worked together for 4 years. I
You were
think
mad for him.
yeah, how protective I am of my clients.
Yeah.
And what really, really upended things is, for me personally, is that you took a person who had worked diligently on
Hmm.
their financial plan for the better part of 4 years, through thick and thin. This guy got it done, right?
Hmm.
And he wasn't financially savvy, right? He learned a lot along the way, but he started
Hmm.
out with like, I don't know anything about this, and he's learned to
Yeah.
manage his finances, right? And to take somebody who spent that amount of time and in one 45-minute meeting
Hmm.
turn him into a mass of uncertainty was incredibly heartless and unfair.
Yeah.
Um,
And you think the end goal of this person was to sell products to
oh,
him?
I know it was. I've seen the
Yeah.
emails.
Oh,
I've seen it. I know the product.
yeah.
I'm not saying that there are evil monsters out there, but let me say this. You don't know what you don't know. And that is
Hmm.
true of all of us. There are things I don't know, right? There are things everybody doesn't know.
Right.
But your job is first to do no harm.
Hmm.
Okay. You don't take somebody out of a product that it has guarantees for lifetime, is maybe the top selling annuity in the country,
Hmm.
and sell them something else because you feel like it by telling them what to be afraid of. Let me paint a behind the scenes picture a little bit about the insurance and investment industry. There's a lot of advisors out there,
Hmm.
and a lot of them are very good. Many of them are very good, very trustworthy, knowledgeable. They continue to get education. They they care about their clients, and they seek out the best possible options for them.
Hmm.
But just like any industry, you're going to find some people who don't do that. And to me, one of the red flags is that they're pretending to be something else, like affiliated with,
Hmm.
say, the mass teachers retirement system, when they're not. That at the very core is the very beginning of, I'm not being truthful with you in some way, and I'm out there
Right.
just trying to get business.
I
And
can imagine another red flag would be if someone is not just presenting you options, but trying to scare you into going into a certain product. That's probably a big one, right?
yeah, we started out with me saying I'm going to take the high road here, and I really wanted to just talk about MTRS, great
And I'm
system.
getting
This
you
is what to
wound
look
up.
for, and we will. But I just can't say this. I think it helps people to understand that somebody in the business is telling you, look, pay attention to your spidey senses, right? Pay
Hmm.
attention to your antenna when you're feeling like that doesn't sound right. Like in this guy's case, he knew that he'd worked with me for 4 years. The
Right.
first thing that really bothered him was that somebody told him he couldn't trust me. And he was like, oh
Ah.
my gosh, I've made this terrible decision. I can't, I'm going to lose all my money. I believed her.
Hmm.
And of course, I was able to show it to him in writing, calmed him right down.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out, I bet it was a big sense of relief. That's when the tears came. That's always when the
Mhm.
tears come when I'm meeting with people. They're wrapped really tightly about their debt or their finances or whatever, and they're
Yeah.
telling me all those things they need to tell me. And then when they realize it's going to be okay, that's when they go,
Yeah.
oh, and the tears come. And it's so common because we're all trying to do the best we can do with the skills we've got. And in this particular case, it means that if you don't know everything about finance, you're going to have to lean on somebody who knows more than you.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that requires trust. And trust should be earned. And in my opinion, if an advisor cannot show you in writing and explain to you so that you can paraphrase it back to them in an
Hmm.
accurate way, find another advisor. Simple as that.
All right. We're going to get much more into this in part two, but in the meantime, let's get your phone number.
Of course, it's 413-773-3333.
And you can go to hugyourmoney.com. We'll be back with part two of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rahaim on WHMP.
Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor is underwritten by Franklin County Technical School. We build futures. Visit fcts.us or call 413-863-9561.
Welcome back to Financial Fitness. I'm Jess, along with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rahaim. Hi.
Hi. Shame on me. I
I
have been
mean,
doing.
I love that you're this upset for one of your clients, and you should be, and that probably is a good sign for a financial advisor that you're mad on their behalf.
It is, but the goal here is to teach people what to watch out for, and I spent all of that time ranting just to set the tone for how serious this is. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, or a lot about what the Mass Teachers Retirement System can do, what it can't do, who and what it is. Okay. In Massachusetts, it was created by the General Law, Chapter 32. Okay. It's what's called a contributory defined benefit plan. All that means, all the lingo, right? What does that mean? It means both you and your employer, contribute to it. Okay? And your benefit is based on a formula, not market performance. All right?
Okay. So this is different from a 401k in that way.
It is. So that formula uses your years of service for age and your highest average salary. So if this sounds familiar to you, you have a plan like this. Okay, go find it in your state. One of the things this gentleman said to me is it was the union who referred him to this person. But upon further talking with him, he kept saying MTRS. MTRS is not a union, to the best of my knowledge. I mean, somebody will call me and say, yeah, we're a union. I'll be surprised. Okay. It's a state agency, and it's overseen by the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission. PERAC, okay? It has its own board established under Chapter 15, Section 16 of the Massachusetts law. Here's the important point. Those board members are held to fiduciary standards under 840 CMR 1.00, okay? It literally says they must act, I'm using my quotes here for people listening to me, with care, skill, prudence, and diligence for the exclusive benefit of the members.
Okay.
Did I say in there anywhere that they're going to sell you a product? I did not.
So is this something that teachers are automatically enrolled in, or is this?
Depending on your state, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Your years of service, after a certain period of time, you're vested, you qualify, whatever, depending on the state, different guidelines. So their job is to administer your pension, calculate your benefits, and keep the system solvent. That's it. Okay.
So if you're on the phone with someone and they're trying to sell you a product, then you're probably not talking to the right person.
Yeah, you should know that. And I'm going to give you a list of things you can ask to figure that out. So as far as I know, there's no statute that says the MTRS refers or endorses private advisors.
Okay.
So if someone says, I'm with the Teachers Retirement System and I can fill in the blank, replace your annuity, get you a better plan, whatever, that's a flag. Okay.
Okay.
So what do they offer? Because as I said, it's one of the best in the country. So they offer educational resources, excellent educational resources, actually. Bravo, Massachusetts. Yay. Okay. They have seminars like your MTRS benefits and ready for retirement. Okay. Virtual retirement counseling sessions. Now there's another buzzword that people love to throw into their names. I'm the virtual retirement specialist, right? Okay. Virtual retirement counseling sessions for personalized estimates. Publications like The Advisor, which is a newsletter for active and retired members. And all of that is legitimate, it's all official, and it's all free. Okay? But they do not provide individual investment or insurance advice.
Okay.
The counselors will help you understand your service credit, your pension estimate, and your options, not tell you where to invest or which annuity to buy.
Okay.
They don't authorize, as far as I know, if I get a phone call, I'll come on and, I'll scrape the egg off my face, but I've been doing this a long time. Okay. Yeah. They don't authorize outside retirement consultants. There are, however, as we've been talking about, independent professionals who specialize in helping teachers. Some are excellent. Okay. There are people who care about doing this well. Some are excellent. I don't mean to say that there aren't good people that you can find in this, but they're not MTRS employees.
Right.
So you
Okay.
should always verify who you're talking to, who they work for, and how they're paid. If you take nothing else away from this show, those three things are what you need to do. Verify who you're talking to, who they work for, and how they're paid.
Okay. I was
Question?
just going to say, how do you verify who they're working for? Obviously, you ask them, but
Yeah,
I know we talked previously on a show about scams and stuff, like to go back into the website, um, make sure that it's spelled correctly. There's
yeah,
like little
yeah.
little tricks, but how do you verify? I mean, I'm sure they're going to say, yes, I work for the blah blah blah.
I think the key is, do they answer you or not? First of all, a good advisor
Mhm.
will answer you. A bad
Okay.
one will not want to answer your questions. But it's very simple. Call your state board and find out. And you
Got
can
it.
go to the website in Massachusetts, mtrs.state.ma.us, and
Okay.
find contact information for them. Okay. So I think those are the things you really want to check. Now let's talk about what MTRS cannot do. Okay.
Okay.
By law, again, my disclaimer, I'm not an attorney. I read. Here's what I've got. Okay. By law, MTRS can only do what's written in Chapter 32. I think everybody would agree that that's how the law works. If it's written,
Mhm.
you can do it. They cannot, according to that chapter, sell or promote investment or insurance products,
Okay.
refer members to private advisors, or make personal financial recommendations beyond your state pension. Regulation 807, CMR 3.00 through 6.00, are
Yeah.
about service credits and compensation definitions, not outside investments.
Okay.
And 840 CMR 1.00 requires the board to avoid conflicts of interest and act only in the member's benefit. You will never see, this is why, in fact, you will never see MTRS hosting a sales seminar.
Hmm.
If you do, or if you think you do, it's not the official system. It's a
Okay.
private company using similar language. Now, let me be very clear about this. That doesn't mean you won't get good help through them,
Hmm.
but it does mean you better be on your guard and figure out, are they looking at the full picture, or are they just trying to sell you a product? I mean, your pension is only one little piece. You have to
Hmm.
consider your health insurance at retirement and your spouse's uh, um, finances and pension and Social Security and your Social Security, if there is any. Laws are changing all the time. All of those things have to be rolled in, your household income, your plans for the future.
Hmm.
MTRS or any other state plan, that's way outside their scope. They're not going to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Okay. So you might be wondering, in fact, how could this teacher have ended up, or how could anybody end up? And I wouldn't be doing a show about it if it wasn't fairly common. How could they end up talking to a private advisor when they meant to reach the MTRS, the Massachusetts Teachers Retirement System?
Hmm.
The truth is, it's easier than you might think.
Was it a
So,
similar number, similar website?
good question. So, let's go over the things that could have happened to this guy
Okay.
or to anybody. Many private firms buy Google ads.
Hmm.
Okay. And those are just popping up in front of you, right? Or
Yeah.
they use websites with names that sound almost identical to the official system. I'll give you a
Hmm.
couple that I'm just making these up, right? If you search for MTRS retirement estimate, which
Hmm.
I think a lot of people would do, right? Hey, let me
Yeah.
find out what my estimate is. And you click the first thing that pops up,
Hmm.
you might get a marketing page, right?
Okay.
That says something like teachers, retirement consultants, or Massachusetts educator retirement help.
Hmm.
Something that it feels to you. I mean, that's not much of a stretch to believe that you type something in and you click a link and
Right.
you end up at one of these places. What happens? You fill in your information thinking it's the state, and poof, you're on the sales list,
Hmm.
right? Now you're going to get an email that says, "Oh, we see that you contacted MTRS about your retirement. I'm an advisor working with teachers. I
Because
can
you're
help."
targeted now. Yeah.
Doesn't take much, right?
You would think that some of these companies, and I know that this isn't the case, but you'd think that some of these companies would be required at the very beginning of the call to say, we are not affiliated with, but I'm assuming there's no law that says they have to do that.
You would think that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that that would be good? Um, I'm going to give you a list of questions to ask as well. Uh, but I want to make sure that we get all of this in time. So
Okay.
other times people might get a card from a well-meaning coworker, as we said, who says,
Hmm.
look, this person's helped a lot of people I know or a lot of teachers, and then it feels official. But
Right.
none of that means the person works for MTRS. Okay.
Okay.
So the safest move is always to start at the official site, mtrs.state.ma.us, or call the MTRS phone number directly before you share any personal details. All
Okay.
right. Filling in the gaps. This is important. Your pension is only one piece of this, of your retirement, right? So
Hmm.
once you have your MTRS pension, by the way, you can go right to the state site, type in your information, and get your estimate right there on the site without ever talking to anybody.
Oh,
Okay, you
okay. That's
can do
good to
that.
know. Yeah.
So they got a calculator right there. And it's an estimate, right? But once you have your MTRS estimate, that's only one piece of your plan. You still need to think about at least these three things: your spouse's benefits or Social Security,
Okay.
your savings, investments, and debt payoff strategy, which
Okay.
most people don't talk to you about at all, and which can make an enormous difference in your retirement, and your health insurance and long term care planning. There could be other things like life insurance and
Hmm.
disability. There could be lots of other things, but those three things absolutely have to be part of your retirement planning.
Okay.
And those are outside the scope of any state retirement board that I know of. And it's where the right independent advisor can be of value.
Hmm.
So when you seek outside help, look for someone who is licensed in your state,
Okay.
can provide full disclosures in writing. Folks,
Hmm.
in writing, I can't say it often enough. If they can't give it to you in writing, it isn't worth squat. Okay.
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
technical term, squat. Okay. Uh, doesn't need to tear down. This is probably my most important point about what happened to this guy. The conversation could have sounded like this: oh, sir, I see you have this. I think we might be able to do better. Let me show you what I've got.
Hmm.
It didn't go that way. It went, what you have is terrible. You should be afraid, run away, hit it with a
Ugh.
stick, buy my stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Above all, an advisor that does not need to tear down what you already have just to sell you something new. Okay.
Hmm.
So, what's a good first step for somebody who's nervous? Okay. Start with what's official. Go to mtrs.state.ma.us and start there.
Okay.
Download your own benefit estimate. You can do it right there on the site. It's a great, great
Hmm.
thing, you know. Then, before you sign anything new, you run it past an independent professional, at least one. You want to get three opinions? My hat's off to you. Go through it, get three opinions, and see what you think.
Hmm.
A good advisor, bottom line, will welcome your questions and will answer everything in a way you can understand it, even if they have to say it six different ways until you
Hmm.
feel comfortable with it. They will provide everything in writing.
Yeah.
A bad advisor discourages all that stuff. You don't need
And
it
tries to
because
scare
just
you.
trust me. I've been doing it for years. I blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
All of those things can be said. You want it in writing. It's a big, big decision. Okay. Questions to ask. I've got this laundry list and a handout. So I know I'm probably over time, but questions to ask. Uh, Above all, who do you work for? How are you compensated?
Okay.
Are you affiliated with MTRS or a private company? So don't
Hmm.
wait for them to disclose it. Ask it. Can you show me in writing how this new product or new investment improves my situation?
Okay.
And the big question: what happens if I do nothing? What if I do
Okay.
nothing? What happens? Okay. What are the guarantees and who is backing them? Those are the big questions to ask. Your pension is that promise. You never turn that in for something. Don't let somebody replace it
Hmm.
without guarantees, with some sort of a guess. So I hope that this helps people, be a little
More
more on
cautious,
guard.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, a little more on guard about what might happen. The state pension systems build so much trust because they do such a great job and they do
Hmm.
such a great thing, especially for teachers. But when you're looking at retirement, you have to remember that there are a lot of people out there who see dollar signs when they see retirees. And I just want people, especially the people who've worked so hard to teach our kids
Yeah.
and to do this job that they don't really get paid enough for usually,
Hmm.
I want them to be safe. So,
All right. Well, let's get your phone number.
of course, it's 413 773-3333.
And you can go to hugyourmoney.com as well. Thank you so much. This was really interesting. We'll be back next week with another edition of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rahaim on WHMP.
Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor is underwritten by Hug Your Money.
Mission granted, chase your dream.
Hug Your Money, where financial wellness gets personal. Will you help us spread the word about financial fitness? Please like, subscribe, and choose all. Thank you.